Hello and welcome to this introduction to Scratch. Scratch is free to download software for programming and control. It was developed by MIT University in America as an introduction to programming for younger people. It can be used to create computer games, music, animations and also presentations. This is how the screen looks when you open up Scratch. It's divided into a number of boxes. The box in the top right with the white box is where you will see your projects coming together and played back. The bottom right hand corner is where you see any sprites or game objects that are in your project. You can also get to the stage, which is the background area of your project, from that section. The center area is where you create your program instructions, or the script as it's known in Scratch. Over on the left we have a selection of blocks which are used for the programming in Scratch. There are 8 different categories of blocks which are up in the top left hand corner. Each one has its own collection of different blocks, all colour coded, and they're grouped together into categories like looks, sound, their control blocks, motion blocks for moving. Some of the blocks are very simple to use, some are a little more complicated. Scratch comes with a very large collection of characters, or sprites as they're known, to choose from, but you can also create your own as well. There are 3 options when you are creating a new sprite, and that's the 3 star buttons just under the white box there. One option is to paint your own. Clicking on that brings up a paint editor that gives you all the normal drawing tools you'd expect. You can also import a photo into the editor and then paint on top of it to change that. The other options you have is to click on the star with the question mark and get a surprise sprite from Scratch's collection. So anything just pops up there with a click of that. You can delete any of these sprites by right clicking them and choosing the delete option. Or the centre of the 3 sprite buttons with the folder on it lets you choose from the collection that are provided when you download Scratch, and you get 8 folders of different categories to choose from for the sprites. So we've got animals here. Some of the sprites are sort of cartoony images, some of them are more like photographs, and quite often you'll find that you'll get a sprite such as this blue dog where it's the same character but in different positions, and that can be used later to animate your character by flicking through the different costumes. So we'll load in a fish for this example. Once he's on the screen, you can resize your sprite with the grow and shrink buttons at the top. Clicking on your sprite will then change the size with each click. Once you're happy with your sprite selection, you can also edit your background and change that to whatever you like. Clicking on the stage button and then going up to the backgrounds tab in the center. Again, you have the option to paint your own background, import a background from the Scratch collection, or if you have a webcam connected you could just take an image straight from your webcam. Importing also lets you browse your computer for any images you might have saved, so you can actually import any image file into Scratch. But there again are a collection of folders into different categories. So we've got nature here, we might find something to go with our fish, and there's an underwater scene that we could select. Once you've selected your background and your sprite, then you'll want to start to make your sprite move. To do that, you need to use the blocks on the left hand side of your screen. Motion blocks will provide movement for your character, and all you need to do is click and drag any blocks you'd like to use into the center of the screen. This one says move 10 steps, and if I double click on that block, the fish will move the 10 steps. Each click will repeat that action. Any white boxes in Scratch with numbers or words in, you can click in those and edit them. So we can change 10 steps to 50 steps, and that will move the fish a little further each time. We can also put negative numbers in those boxes to do the opposite, and that will move the fish backwards. And it's also possible to put decimal numbers in there for very small movements, such as half a step. That's creating a very small movement each time for the fish. We'll reset that to 10 steps. Just below the move block we've got a turning block. which we can drop in as well, and that says turn 15 degrees, and again double clicking that block will rotate our fish. Now each click of my mouse is moving him a bit further. Now those two blocks are working independently at the moment because they're separate on my screen. However, if we snap them together, the little white line shows me that they're going to join there, and they will now work together, so he's moving and turning with each click there. Joining blocks together like this in Scratch is called creating a stack. And you can link as many blocks as you like together in a stack, and it will work from top to bottom in a kind of chain sequence of instructions. Grabbing the stack at the top lets you move it around. However, grabbing it anywhere else, clicking it anywhere else, will break the stack at that point. To remove a block from the middle, you will have to pull it down, separate it like so, and then to delete any blocks, we just drag them back over to the left and drop them anywhere on this left-hand panel, and that will delete the blocks. Motion is a great category to explore first, and then I suggest moving on to control blocks and seeing how they can work together with the motion blocks, and then perhaps exploring looks and sounds for some of the more creative things you can do with Scratch. And then as you develop your project, you might want to go into things like sensing and some of the more complicated options that are in things like operators and creating your own variables. It's also got a pen section for replicating drawing activities that you might have done with Logo or other programs like that, where you can draw patterns by repeating movement and turning and that kind of thing, and you've got options like pen up, pen down, setting the pen colour and such. There's lots more help available for getting started with Scratch. If you right click any block in Scratch, a little help button appears, and you can left click that to get an idea of what that block does, and it'll give you some examples of things to do with it. Or you can go up to the help button at the top and choose help page or help screens, and that will bring up these areas where again there are more getting started resources and reference guides, and also a link to the Scratch support page. And the help screen button will bring up a comprehensive list of all the different help options that you get with the right click and choosing help there, so that puts them all together in one place for you.